Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rahmat-i-Alam by SYED Sulaiman Nadvi. Muhammad, peace be upon him, mercy for the universe. Translated by A.Rauf Luther. Battle of Uhud, Chapter 3. The Muslims had kept safe their women folk in the fort, for some fear expected from the Jews. The brave women were present in the theatre of war. Hazrat Fatima Zahra was dressing her father's wounds. Hazrat Aisha, Hazrat Salim used to bring water in goat skins, carrying them on their shoulders, and gave Muslims water to drink. The Prophet's aunt and Hazrat Hamza's sister, Hazrat Safiya, after hearing the Muslims' defeat, had come out of Medina. The Prophet called on her son Zubair and said to him, she may not see the scattered parts of the body of Hazrat Hamza. He went to her and she said, I have heard everything about my brother, but in the way of God this is not the highest sacrifice. When permitted, she went to see the corpse of her brother and looked at the scattered parts of the body of her brother. She recited, everything is for God and we too have to go to Him. Nothing else could come out of her lips. There was an Ansari woman whose father, brother and husband has died in the Uhud war. She was much perturbed and marched out of her house. She went on hearing about the deaths of various companions and also the 3 souls quite dear to her. She was much consoled when she came to the Prophet and saw him with her own eyes. She uttered with joy, if you, O Prophet, are alive and safe, then there is no sorrow for us. Muslims did not possess so much quantity of cloth for the use of coffin even for the martyrs and the corpse of the first Imam and missionary of Islam, Hazrat Musab bin Umair, was there lying unburied for the want of coffin. The cloth which was brought for his coffin was short. If the head was covered, the feet became naked, and if the feet were covered, the head became naked. So the head was covered with the same cloth, and some grass was placed on the feet to cover them. It was such a sad scene that whenever a Muslim remembered it, he could not help shedding his tears. The martyrs were laid to rest in the same condition without giving them any bath. They had suffered much at the hands of infidels, and at last they were buried. The Muslims had to suffer a great loss in the Uhud. It was not a complete defeat from the military point of view. It was feared that Abu Sufyan might not again attack them, so the Prophet deemed it essential to chase the enemy. There was a great wisdom in it, that surrounding tribes may not construe that the Muslims had been broken down and anyone could attack them. Although most of the Muslims were seriously wounded, but they marched with the Prophet after hearing God's command to follow him. 70 Muslims offered their services for the purpose, including Hazrat Abu Bakr and Hazrat Zubair. Abu Sufyan had traversed a considerable distance. Then it crossed his mind that half of the work yet remained to be done. But a wealthy man of Quzas Mubad, who was inwardly with Muslims and favored them, came to Makkah after hearing the defeat of Muslims, and went to Abu Sufyan and said, I understand that Muhammad, peace be upon him, with all weapons is chasing you, and now it will be difficult for you to face his forces. So Abu Sufyan went to Makkah, and then the Prophet reached Hamra and then left for Medina. If you like the video, then please share it and subscribe the channel. Press the bell icon and click on all. Jazakumullahu khairan kathira. Thank you.